Thanks, Eddie.
Thanks, Eddie. What do you want to do first, Tracy? We got there's been
so much.
There's always so much, right? And I think that's the thing I love about this business that we're in, and the career we've taken is the real estate industry is always changing. It's, we think back to what was going on in 2008, 2009. I mean, those were some crazy days, and
Yep.
it was awful. People were going through foreclosure, and people were short selling, and we had to adjust to that market. And we think about what's been going on in the last year and a half in the housing market. Honestly, it's been going on for longer than that, but it really came to a head in this whole idea of very low supply, very high demand, prices going up rapidly, competitive, multiple offers. So, it's funny, it's how much it switched from, back from 8 till, let's say, 2012, from 2008 to 2012, where it was just this crazy, buyer's market, right? Now we're in the extreme opposite. We're in this crazy seller's market, meaning very, very advantageous to home sellers right now.
Right. It is crazy. And we've been talking about this for a long time. It really hasn't shifted, but we're going to talk about that today, right?
It's been building for a long time.
Right.
Can I put it that way?
You can.
Okay,
Sure.
I just did.
So I'd really love us to start, Tego, with the best use of time and money when it comes to renovations. It's really interesting because so I noticed a couple different Facebook posts or social media posts in the last week and a thread. And it was interesting because Jason Pike, who's with Waterstone Mortgage, one of the top lenders in the state, had posted a picture of a space where he needs his new range or stove range. And he said he ordered it on January 5th, I believe, of 2021, and he's still waiting for it. So when we're talking about renovations and what's the biggest bang for the buck, which we're going to talk about now, we have to take into consideration the supply chain issue that we're having right now.
And there are, if you guys, it's just about in every industry and everything where there's some sort of, supply need, some sort of material. There are supply challenges everywhere.
There are.
And it's definitely in the housing world. It's definitely in the remodeling world. You go to the home stores and they just don't have the same type of supplies that they used to. And so when you're thinking about, upgrading your home, doing some stuff, either just for yourself and you're going to plan on staying in the home, or if you're getting it ready to sell and you want to optimize your net proceeds from the sale, those things matter. Can you actually get what you need?
They matter. So what we are hoping is that before you rip out all of your flooring or your cabinets or your appliances or your window blinds,
garage door,
before you start ripping things out, make sure that what you need to replace or to remodel or to upgrade is available.
And the reason I say garage doors, I've heard stories about garage doors and the lead times on garage doors being very, very long. So
yeah. We know appliance lead times right now can be many months, and Jason Pike's, one story about that. So let's talk about what renovations are creating the biggest return towards 100% if you're going to consider doing some upgrades on your home.
So in the current market, everything pretty much is selling. Even a house that's in very poor condition is going to sell. Obviously, price always matters as well, right? But I always joke. I always say, well, the home price is somewhere between $1 and $10 million, right? So I mean, everything, what do they say? Every seat. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
I can't help you. I don't know what they say.
I know, but you can't get inside my brain.
Yeah.
The idea is that when you're getting your home ready to sell, there are certain things that you can do, should do, to actually make it more desirable to buyers and net you more money from the sale. We did the show a couple weeks ago talking about staging and how, just because everything's selling in this market and it's a strong seller's market doesn't mean you should leave money on the table.
Right. And a lot of it doesn't cost a lot of money to do, right? From front yard maintenance, front entryway, door, the whole curb appeal of your home. Sometimes it's just getting out a nice blower and trimmer and power washer or whatever, and cleaning things up, maybe refreshing if your door is a painted door, refreshing it. If your trim needs work, some of those things can be
curb appeal is still going to make a big difference. And, clean, neat, tidy, no deferred maintenance, you're just going to get more money for the house.
So that was what I was going to say next. Neat and clean. So the rest on the inside of the house, if you can't do anything except clean, declutter, and just make it sparkle, it's going to make a huge difference for you on how buyers perceive your home, right?
So Tracy, I've got the cost versus value study that the who does this? Home Remodelers Association or something like that. Every year they do a study and they look at cost versus value for upgrades and updates to your home, and what are the things that give you the most bang for the buck. And they actually do have one. They have nationwide. They have mountain region, which we're in, and then they also do have Albuquerque specific, which I brought out. And,
right.
Some of the things we look at and kind of look at sideways and go, well, I guess so. Like, vinyl siding, in Albuquerque, right? That's not really a thing, right? I mean, there's some, but it's not much.
Right, right. Replacing vinyl siding. So
what are some of the big takeaways that you see on that list?
The chart tells you cost recoupment. And what's interesting is nothing is at least 100%. So even if you spend $100 to do something, nothing you do is going to get you 100.
And we're talking about remodels. We're not talking about what we were just talking about, which is cleaning, painting,
right?
Just deferred maintenance.
This is remodels.
Yeah.
So let's talk about kitchens, right? Kitchen remodel.
Yep.
You can have a couple $1,000 kitchen remodel to a $60,000 kitchen remodel, right? From replacing all your cabinets, reorganizing the order of your kitchen, getting new appliances.
Yep.
But, sometimes it's just painting cabinets or cleaning and changing something that's not very costly. But they're saying that kitchen remodel, just a mid-range kitchen remodel, you're going to get 51% back from that remodel. An upscale remodel, which we know is, somebody putting in commercial grade stainless appliances and maybe new cabinets that have soft close and dovetail corners and, all of that. It's only 43% recoup on sale. So it's not something you would want to do for sale. It's something you're going to want to do to live in the home, right? And enjoy. Right. Really bothers me when I see people do a major remodel right before they sell and do all of the things they wanted to have in their house, but then they do it for the next buyer and they didn't have the chance to enjoy it themselves.
Yeah. Do it for yourself.
I feel so bad.
Well, and we know, Tracy, that remodeling is booming right now. I mean, remodeling has been booming since, the beginning of the pandemic, and it continues to boom.
And we did our own kitchen remodel during the pandemic.
We remodeled our office right here,
That's
too,
right,
at the same
because
time.
It was closed and we could.
Yeah.
A master suite upgrade.
Yeah, and I think, I'm not sure what that was referring to, but I don't think that's a big one. I mean, the big ones that really jumped out to me, Tracy, was garage door replacement. Talk about garage doors. And one thing I think we need to add to this, it depends where you're starting, right? If you have a nice kitchen and you just don't like it or you want to do something, different than what it is, obviously spending the money to do it is not going to add value. If it's a trashed out kitchen with cabinet doors falling off and, scratched cabinets and old cabinets and all that.
Counters.
Yeah, obviously, it just depends where you start. Same thing with the garage door. If the garage door is in fine condition, maybe it just needs some paint. But if it's dented up, not working right, then yeah, you're gonna recoup that. Garage door is a huge curb appeal thing.
So one of the other things on the list that jumps out at me is window replacement.
Mm-hmm.
And so we see that, there's a lot of older homes that still have single pane, very
single
hard
pane,
to use
aluminum,
windows. You might get 40 to 50% back if you're selling the house and you've replaced the windows. It's interesting because when I show houses, typically those older houses, buyers aren't as in tune with what major upgrades have been done on a house, like windows.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some buyers are pretty attuned to it.
Yeah.
But a lot of times it's more about how does the house feel, smell, how clean is it, and they don't notice the difference between windows. So getting 40 to 50% back on recouping what your cost was that's probably in range. It's interesting, though. I was at a house in Rio Rancho a couple of weeks ago. They were thinking of selling, and they had spent a lot of money on the big doors. So the whole back of the house had those disappearing
the
doors.
nano wall or whatever they call them. Yeah.
And they had spent a lot of money on that. And
They're
it
expensive.
really made that house pop and shine and beautiful. But I'm not sure. I think they spent about $40,000 on all the windows in the house.
Wow.
And those beautiful doors, but that's a lot of money. Yeah, it's the wow factor. And yeah, when someone walks in that house, the first thing you saw past the fireplace was this beautiful view to the Sandias.
They might be. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Probably going to get more than the 40% return on it, but still, that was a pretty major upgrade. So, So windows. Another thing is roofs, right? It's another thing where I don't know buyers. A lot of our roofs, you can't even see what kind of condition they're in, right? You might be able to see cracking parapets, but it's saying reshingled and pro-panel metal roofs you'll get 40 to 50% back on that.
Well, in roof, the roof thing that's also a maintenance issue, right? People think, well, new roof adds value to the home. No, if the roof was in bad shape and you're just replacing it, doesn't really add value to the home, right? So again, it depends on where you're starting and where you're ending, for sure.
So one of the biggest cost recoupments on the list is stone veneer, manufactured stone veneer on your house.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, that's part of that curb appeal when you pull
Absolutely.
up. I noticed it the other day. I was in a neighborhood of all these stucco kind of 2-story houses.
Yep.
Drove towards a street and the house towards like at the T, bad feng shui, but it was at the T right in front of me.
Yep.
And they had added stone veneer on it. And I looked at it and I went, wow, that house looks very upscale compared to all the rest that I just was in that neighborhood by. It looked gorgeous. And I thought that really added value to that house. So here it is on paper saying 92% recoupment for that stone veneer.
Yeah, it does. That does add pop to a home for sure, as long as everything else is in order with the curb appeal.
Right. So to wrap this up,
if
you're thinking of remodeling, let's make sure that it's for you and that the cost makes sense and that the product's available.
Thinking of remodeling and you're intending on selling in a relatively short period of time, we'd be happy to consult and talk about it and just make sure that you're getting your bang for your buck. Yeah,
we're here for you to say, do that, don't do this, and make sure that the supplies are available.
Yeah. All right, Tracy, just talking about, the state of the housing market, there was a story in the Albuquerque Journal, local, talking about what's going on in the housing market, and they highlighted some of the stuff that, we've been talking about for a long time. One of them is that the high-end market is very, very strong in Albuquerque, and there's been very, very strong sales in what we call luxury market, which is probably 500,000, 600,000 and above, somewhere in that. That's been a moving target actually because it's moved so much lately. One of the things I found interesting, there was a quote that said that the movie industry, a lot of movie industry buyers coming into our market. And I'm thinking about our team, and we're the biggest team in Albuquerque.
As in selling the most homes than anybody.
Yeah. And I'm like going, I don't really see a lot of, movie industry executives or high-end people coming here buying homes. It seems like a lot of the rental market is driven by the moving industry. The movie industry. And so I don't know. I see those things and I go, talking about high end
stats.
Yeah. It's like talking about the high end market and how busy it is. And that, we've got a lot of people moving here for the movie industry, and tying those two things together. I don't know. That stat doesn't exist that I know of.
To give a little perspective, we've helped over 375 people in the process of buying a home or already bought or sold a home. And I can think of one person that maybe was tied to the movie industry of all of those. Now, I wouldn't know everything because we've got a whole team. but nobody here resonates with that.
Yeah, nor do I. And we don't want to get Eddie started on the movie industry. That's a whole nother conversation.
So
but,
the other thing is we hear all these people are coming from California. And again, there's no statistics to prove that. And we don't see it. And we would feel it.
The biggest driver to the housing boom in the Albuquerque area, and it's the same as everywhere else in the country for the most part, is just people that live here that want to be homeowners that weren't homeowners before. And then you've got those the move up buyers that are buying the bigger house. So we are seeing that. Most of the luxury sales in Albuquerque are people that are from here, that live here, that already had a house. Maybe, their home prices have gone up 25% in the last 3 years. It's like, shoot, let's take that and move that into that dream house that we always wanted. Interest rates are at an all-time low. Right?
Crazy.
Again,
so good.
Can I just say, I just want to make sure, I don't have any data to back that up. I'm just telling you that for the most part, it does appear most of the home sales are people from here.
So I will say there has been one segment that I have noticed a few transactions that are tied together, and that's Intel. We've seen some people moving here for Intel and buying homes. I wouldn't say they're all luxury buyers though. I have seen at least one luxury Intel buyer, but the rest are buying what everyone else is buying, our median price home in Albuquerque and Rio Rancho. So we have seen an influx there, more than I would say on the movie industry.
Just a couple more things on the housing market, just overall in Albuquerque. The home prices this time of year traditionally what we call flatten out, where they don't continue to rise quite as much, and that has been true here in the last, let's say, 8 weeks. It's the home prices have somewhat flattened out.
So this topic is, is the demand pulling back? Are we seeing a change in our market?
And I would answer that two ways. Yes, we are seeing a change. And that's normal.
Right. Like, this is a topic in and of itself.
Yeah, well,
this is seasonally normal. We've got kids going back to school this week. We've got parents figuring out childcare. We've got people focused on what normally happens this time of year.
So I saw a story that was, buyer demand, are we still having bidding wars? And it's like, well, are the bidding wars slowing down? Yes, for homes. Are there still bidding wars? Absolutely. Are we getting, 5 offers instead of 20 offers? Right. So yes, the market's slowing. No, the traffic is strong. I have a stat that shows the number of showings there are, what we call foot traffic in the Albuquerque area. It's just as strong as last year. It's just as strong as 2019. The home buyers are out there. The other stat that I watch is, and just talking about demand, is loan applications, mortgage loan applications. And mortgage loan applications have come down. So you might see some headlines that say, oh, mortgage applications are down. Well, down versus last year where they were just off the hook. But historically, they're still above averages historically. We still have a lot of buyers out there. Buyer demand is not waning, and if anybody tells you otherwise, I don't know what they're looking at, but that data isn't out there. The other thing, if anybody...
They heard somebody in the grocery store line or something. They don't have the stats that you look at.
I mean, the truth is there's a lot of YouTuber prognosticators on all different things, economy, whatever. And some of them get on there and talk about the impending housing bubble, and the bubble's going to pop. You gotta if you're listening to that and you're believing that, you got to understand that they're leaving something out, and usually the thing they're leaving out is demographics, and that we have the largest population in the country are in the late 20s to early 30 age, and they don't own homes.
And they're going to be home buyers.
And that we've got a 13-year underbuilding of homes in the whole country. 13 years we've underbuilt the number of homes. I saw something just the other day, just on the Albuquerque market. They were saying like Rio Rancho, there's like 7,000 homes short. In the greater Albuquerque area, it could be as many as 15 to 20,000 homes short for a a healthy market, right? And the problem we have right now, the one problem we do have, home prices are going up at a really fast pace, and that's not good for anybody. I mean, I take that back.
Yeah.
It's great if you're a homeowner and you want to sell and you don't have to buy anything.
Right. Or if you're a homeowner and you need some resources because you have equity.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. So anyway, just there is one story. I said there are some supply challenges, or continues to be supply challenges in the housing world, and there's actual just the building materials is a problem. But a news story I just saw, or a research I just saw, they looked at the let me find the study here, but basically what they're looking at is the supply of lots. That's the finished lots that you can build a home on. It was like an all-time low nationwide. It was down 35% versus last year, which was already down. And so if we think we're going to build our way out of this housing supply shortage, it's going to take a while to work out.
Right.
The one thing I will say, let me just leave off with this, is if we see mortgage rates go above 4%, let's say, maybe 4.5%, 5%, that will slow down the housing market. But until we reach that, I don't see it changing.
I'm with you.
Slow down. Okay.
Homes of the week.
Yes.
So I haven't prepared any specific homes of the week, because what we see is we talk about them and they're usually sold, right?
Yeah.
It's just like people who are searching online on certain online home search sites where they show you houses that are already in pending sale.
Yeah.
It's one of those where we've got homes, we've got things coming on the market, we've got some great open houses, we've got in every part of town, from Belen, Las Lunas, Edgewood, Northeast Heights, Rio Rancho, all over Albuquerque. We've got houses that we're working on to be on the market. And, if you're looking for something specific, give us a ring. We can get you on one of those searches where you hear about them before they actually hit the market, so that you can at least be ready the day they go on the market. And so the best is just to touch base with us at 448-8888. Connect with one of our great agents, and they can start doing that search and being a dog in the market for you, looking for them and bird dogging and finding the house for you and getting you in early and getting you taken care of with great resources and getting you prepped on what it's like to be a buyer in the market today, because that's really important.
It could be really frustrating. It is really frustrating for a buyer, especially in certain price ranges. There's just such limited supply and so many people wanting those properties when they hit the market. So
right.
it is competitive.
And get on our website, welcomehomeabq.com. You can go to the open houses tab to find out what houses are open. Of course, we put everything out there if an agent puts it in MLS, not just our team. So you can see all of the open houses that are going on if you want to do that. Obviously, it's great to have your appointments at houses, so we can set that up as well. Lots of resources on there, all about being a home buyer, a home seller. There's videos. There's lots of good stuff on welcomehomeabq.com. And as Eddie always says, it's the number one used realtor website. Not
real estate
website. Action-packed and full of information, but obviously one-on-one communicating with a real person is always going to be best. So we'd love to chat with you. We have agents on duty all the time, pretty much. So if you want to give us a call, we can get you connected. We have some great folks here.
A couple of headlines this week, Tracy, I just want to hit on. One of them was Fannie Mae, who holds all the conventional loans out there. They're going to change some of their credit standards that are going to benefit renters. And so what they're going to do is, before they have this thing called desktop underwriting, DU is what the abbreviation is where you put in credit worthiness and income and their credit score of a potential person applying for a mortgage. And one of the things they've look at is payment history on any lines of credit and stuff like that. But in the past, they would not, or currently too, it's going to change next month, they did not look at your rental history, which was unfortunate, right?
So now consistent rent payments will be considered. So if you've been a great renter, that's going to help you.
Yeah, it's going to
get you
help.
in a better line to be a buyer.
And that's for the, Fannie Mae under mortgages. And the thing, I will say this, I did talk to Mon Fan, who's one of the top lenders in Albuquerque, and just wanted to get his feedback on this story and what he thought. And he said, it may help some people, he said, but you got to look at all the options. Fannie Mae and conventional is just one. It may be that an FHA program would be better for folks. So getting a lender that can kind of guide you through and look at those different things will matter too.
Oh my gosh, Tego, what you just
said. I
just
opened up Pandora's box, it looks like.
It got me all excited. The thing about a local lender, I feel bad for people sometimes that get online and they fill out something. They saw a TV commercial or something, and they get a lender in a stable somewhere in... I
assure you, if somebody does that and gets online and fills out like one of those, things,
you'll be bombarded.
You're going to be bombarded.
But they get online and they use an online lender that says they've got these great rates, and what they're missing out on is the local person who can say, is that really the best loan program for you? Have you considered? Do you know that if we took blah, 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 and tell me more about your life and how you have income and what you do, and they can get you the best loan program. And the local lenders' rates are as competitive as all those people spending a lot of money to get you to click on them.
Let me just say this, and I think they can be as competitive. I think shopping a mortgage is still a good idea, but shop it with people that are local, know what's going on here locally, and can really hold your hand through the process. Because if you have not applied for a mortgage in a while, oh my gosh, Tracy, I know I did. We refinanced a property not too long ago. It is a process to get a mortgage, and so having somebody that really helping you through the process is important. And if you're doing that all online, you'll lose your mind.
But shopping a mortgage, Eddie, isn't calling a lender and saying,
so sorry.
Hey, man.
Isn't calling.
Sorry about that.
Shopping a mortgage isn't call a lender and say, what's your rate? Because they can't just quote you a rate like that. If they do, don't work with them, right?
Yeah.
They need to know a lot of things. They need to know your, steady income, your credit score. They just can't say, well, we're at this, because it varies based on you and your credit. So when Tego says shop for a loan, don't just call and say, what's your credit? And you don't want everybody pulling your credit.
Well, yeah, you got to be careful with that. But also, right, if they're just quoting you a rate without having good information and just, trusting what you say about your income and credit over the phone, yeah, that doesn't work that way.
No bueno.
No bueno.
No bueno. Yes.
Tego, Tracy, Venturi, the Venturi Real Estate Group from Keller Williams Realty. All you have to do is pick up the phone and dial them directly, 448-8888. That's 448-8888, or welcomehomeabq.com. That's welcomehomeabq.com.